Hi, it's Green Screen here today and welcome back to my channel. This is D in the AtoZbuilds, and as you can see on screen right now, we're going to be building a drive-through diner. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about what the AtoZbuilds is, just in case this is the first video of this series that you've watched. The AtoZbuilds is basically 26 letters, 26 builds. Each build starts with the letter of the alphabet that I'm on, so this is D, so it's a drive-through diner. Now, I don't have any specific rules for what kind of building that I pick when I'm building these, when I'm using the letters, but I'm trying to think outside the box with the builds. I'm trying to build things that, you know, I haven't built before and that are a little bit different. Not saying that anybody hasn't done a drive-through diner before, because I'm pretty sure they have, so I haven't seen it, but I'm sure that someone somewhere will have done it. So anyway, obviously the biggest, how shall I say it, the biggest, I don't know, problem with building a drive-through diner, we'll go for problem, is that there's no cars in the game. So there's no road textures, there's nothing like that. So that was obviously my biggest challenge. Challenge, that's the word I was looking for, challenge. Right, the biggest challenge obviously was trying to get the actual drive-through part of the build done. So I've gone for just the grey concrete, and you'll see in a bit what I've tried to do. And obviously I've sized up a few cars to get to give the illusion of a drive-through. But you know, I'm hoping that one day, when they do put cars in the game, if they put cars in the game, that you know, we'll be able to build stuff like this a bit easier, and that they'll actually be able to use it. Maybe they will add drive-throughs in, that'll be quite cool. But anyway, for now, this is my my version of it. So the idea for the outside was that I wanted it to kind of look a little bit modern, because obviously it's a new build, but I didn't want it to look kind of too different to the landscape. I wanted it to sort of have that red of the landscape. You know, we're in a deserted area, so we wanted to make it fit in with that, and I didn't want it to be too like kind of like, obviously it's one story, you can't actually access the upstairs bit. I mean, obviously if you wanted to download the build and put access to the upstairs bit, you can do, that's fine, but I didn't want it to be too like, I wanted it to like kind of have dimension. I didn't want it to look too, I don't know, boxy and just like kind of plain. So I added in that little bit on top where I've put the signage, and also made the roof green, because I wanted it to kind of look a bit like an eco build, because obviously anything that people tend to build new in real life these days, they do tend to do some nice eco builds. In fact, there's a shop near where I used to live in Sheffield that was in Marks and Spencer's, and when they built it, they built the side of it like with all trees and stuff like that, and it was supposed to be like an eco build. So anyway, that's a slightly irrelevant story, but yeah, so like I said, the building the actual roadway was slightly difficult, because obviously they wouldn't be quite as square as they are. So, but I couldn't do anything about it really. Putting those kind of like the flooring on with the rounded corners didn't look right either. So eventually I just kind of had to go back to the square, and I don't know, just work with what we've got, I guess, basically was the point I'm trying to make. I didn't do any like proper road markings, because I don't know, this is drive-through, you're going to go through one way, aren't you, so it doesn't really matter. I have tried to go for using different windows than what we usually use in these builds, which would be the like big like modern ones. So I thought, oh, I'll use something different to what we used to building with, and as you can see, I'm doing like slight little road markings. And then obviously I thought, well, if you're going to be sat at the window ordering your food or getting your food, you need to be able to pass the other person. So I did like a second lane, I guess, on that one, so you can go around people on the one-way system. And I did have a bit of trouble with the parking spaces at the end. The thing is, really, that I don't drive, so I have no idea how how much space a car actually needs, because I don't have one, nor do I drive. I've never really been that bothered, to be honest. It's something that's on my list to do, but it's not important. I'm quite local, so I can walk everywhere, and there's quite a good public bus service, so it's fine. I don't need to walk. Anyway, I don't know why I'm trying to justify to you why I don't drive. I don't need to justify that, but that's why I don't drive. But anyway, yeah, so for the entrance to the the drive-through, I have I've done this little archway, and that's because I'm pretty sure that on one of the drive-through I don't know, restaurants that I've been to, there's always a little kind of archway going over where you drive through to obviously pick up your order and pick up your food. And I don't know, I just thought it kind of makes it a bit like more of an entranceway there, and then you know where you're going. So you know, that's my reason for doing that. One thing that I'm very disappointed about actually with the Dine Out pack is that there's just not enough signs. Like the signage for the front of the buildings is very limited, and then you end up with doing commercial lots all with the same signage. I would really like there to be some different signs. Like, I mean, obviously there's custom content and stuff like that, but if you use custom content, or if I use custom content, I feel like I'm limiting the people that can actually download and use it. So I try not to use it as much in builds that I'm putting on the gallery. I'll try, you know, I might use it in, I'm trying to design some of my own custom content actually, some of my own like custom artwork. So, you know, but I'll probably only use that in my personal builds, because it just seems a little unfair that, you know, people won't be able to use it. So I'm just very disappointed that we don't have any like diversity in the signs, and also they all look really posh. So every single sign that you've got for the front of the building looks like a posh restaurant. There's no like kind of like funky diner sign like that, you know, you could sort of think, oh yeah, that would be like a diner place that you'd go, or a fast food restaurant, apart from this one there that I'm putting down, which sort of has a burger on it. But even then, the writing looks too fancy. So basically you just have to kind of work with what you've got, I guess. I tried to make the colours of the outside of the building just reflect what you'd expect from a diner. I don't know, make it, but then again, like I said, it's supposed to be a new build. It's something that's newly built, so obviously it is going to look quite like fresh and modern, but that's just because it's new. So, you know, I don't know, I just tried to kind of give it the illusion of like a fast food restaurant. It's like it's somewhere you'd go for convenience, you know, you wouldn't be going there for your birthday meal, let's say. But yeah, so obviously this is that's why that's all I've got to say about the Dine Out pack, really. It's a very good pack. It is a bit glitchy. Yeah, I do feel like there's more that could have been done with it. I don't know what, but I don't know, I just feel like there were some things that are missing from it. But other than that, I feel like I have managed to make it work for me. I've managed to do what I wanted to do with it, so I'm not too disappointed. But yeah, so still, there's a lot of landscaping in this build. I should have probably cut quite a lot of the landscaping out, because I think for most of the video I actually spend outside doing the landscaping, because I wanted it to look nice. And it was a very big space that I was using. I'm really glad actually that I used this lot, because I was originally going to do it on a 64 by 64 lot, and then I was like, nah, I don't think I need that much space. You know, perhaps I think this is a 50 by 50. And I'm really glad that I made that choice, because I would have just had way too much space to work with. I already started to get a bit bored towards the end of this, so God knows what would have happened if I'd have actually picked a 64 by 64. But yeah, I've obviously gone into night mode so that you can see what the lights look like. I like to add a lot of lighting onto buildings, you know. I want it to look pretty at night as well as in the daytime. I want it to look inviting, somewhere that people can, you know, want to go to. And, you know, diners, well, fast food restaurants, I guess, near where I'm from, they do tend to open quite late. some of them are 24 hours, so you know you would have a lot of lighting because you'd want it to look inviting at night time. Those little windows are my new favourite window. They have no glass in, and they're just so useful for many different things. So I've used them for the windows where you would collect your food, just because they're just so useful. I've used them in quite a few builds now, and I can see myself using them in many more builds to come. But yeah, like I said, the windows are completely they can't be used in any way, basically, so they're just there for aesthetic purposes. One thing I did forget to do, and then I sort of remembered quite quickly, was that you need an area to actually order your food at, because a lot of the places that you go to, I'm just trying to think actually, because some of the drive-thrus don't have the monitors where you order your food at. Some of them do, some of the bigger ones do, or the newer ones, but then there are others where you still go to the window and you order at the window. So yeah, so I kind of forgot that because I'm not used to seeing them. But obviously we don't have much to play with, so I kind of had to I don't know, you can do a makeshift like intercom. So I use this little TV, which I imagine would show I don't know, the latest deals, and then this little thing, which was I think it's a stereo. I thought, you know, kind of works quite well as a, I don't know, a speaker somewhere where you speak in. Obviously the TVs will just show whatever people put on them, but in my mind it shows what food there is on the menu today. So yeah, you'll just have to use your imagination for that one, which I guess a lot of The Sims is using your imagination, and my imagination has definitely been opened since building in this game a lot more. And yeah, I don't know, I think it turned out alright. And obviously, like I said, I have put the cars there so you can see that they are all to scale, and I was quite happy at the fact that the speaker does seem to line up with the window. Now, I have no idea if those cars are actually would actually be big enough for a sim to use, because I didn't have a sim with me to stand next to it. So they might be slightly small, I don't know. You can tell me in the comments down below. Does that look like a really small car? Because it is supposed to be a van as well, isn't it? So it looks quite small. No, I'm not sure. I think we might actually finally be going inside at some point. Oh no, we're still doing the road. Yeah, so there's a lot of just me rambling on in this video, I understand. It's really difficult to keep the pace going when you're sort of talking about a build that you did a few days ago, because I kind of can't remember what parts of the build I did when. And there, I know what I'll talk about. There you go, something really exciting coming up now. I'll talk about parking spaces. First off, the parking spaces, I was going to do them like that, and then I realised actually it probably would be very difficult for you to back out of those parking spaces if you were actually in it, because there's not much room at all. So I was like, how can I fix this? How can I make it so that it looks more realistic? So I've actually changed the parking spaces and put them on the diagonal. Now, I don't know if that's like realistic, because again, I don't drive, I don't park, I don't do any of those things. So, but it seemed to work. It seemed to like create more space. And again, I managed to put in 2 lanes instead of just 1 lane, because, you know, if people are coming up and parking and people are coming out of the drive-through, they need to have space to get around and la 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 and all that. So yeah, so here we'll see me doing the parking spaces. It does mean that we have less, but we don't have cars, so that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter even if we had just had 1. So yeah, so I managed to get that in there. And yeah, I don't know, it kind of looks a bit better now. It looks a bit more even. So we've got, like I said, we've got two lanes instead of 1. And I think now we might actually finally be going inside. Are we going inside? I don't know, I can't remember. No, I'm just moving cars around. I think, yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the moment. Oh no, we're still doing some trees. just hang tight for the trees. Putting in some palm trees, yeah. I don't know, I wanted to go for a nice desert look, so I've used a lot of cacti. Is that right? Do you say cacti? Yeah, used a lot of cactuses, and I like cactuses actually in real life. I've got a lot of cactuses around the house, but my cat does tend to eat them. I don't know why she's drawn to eating them, but we particularly have one cactus in the living room which keeps growing new stalks, which is great. We want it to grow new stalks, but then you come back the next day and the cat's eating the new stalk, so my housemate isn't very happy about that. So yeah, we're finally inside. Woohoo! So the inside, obviously, I wanted to look like somewhere where you'd go and order your food, and then you'd have a place to sit. So I did this big kitchen along the back, and then I used the ovens that came with Dine Out to do to like sort of keep the kitchen open so you can see into the kitchen. And I've just realised that I obviously walked away from the computer and completely forgot to edit that out. So I am very sorry about that. Just bear with me, I'll be back. There we go. So the kitchen's open so you can see into it. I used those ones just because, I don't know, thought they looked more realistic in a fast food restaurant build, so I've gone for those. And I wanted to, I don't know, keep the space really open and light, and put as many stations as I could in, because obviously if we were thinking about this realistically, a fast food place would have a lot of ovens and a lot of things going on and a lot of cooks, because obviously it's got to be fast. So I made it quite a big kitchen to what I'd usually make a restaurant when I do build them. I don't tend to build restaurants that often, just because I don't know, it's just not a part of the game that I use that much. I do like the restaurant. I do like the pack. I like the restaurant pack, but it's not something in the game that I am that bothered about doing. So when you get invitations to go and eat at Shea Llama or wherever it is that they want you to go and eat, I always decline them. And as I'm saying this, I'm sort of realising that maybe I should start using the pack more, because, you know, I have spent the money on it, so I should probably start using it. But then again, maybe it's just because I'm bored of the places that you go to. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to redo the whole of the Sims 4 worlds. What I originally was doing with that was I was going to do them all and upload them, but then I sort of quickly realised that I wasn't just using certain packs for certain worlds. So like, for instance, Windenburg came with Get Together, so you could use base game plus Get Together, and maybe like a stuff pack or something. Instead, what I was doing was using all the packs that I had, and I kind of felt a bit like that would limit the amount of people that could actually play with the world if I uploaded it and people were interested in downloading it. So I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to redo them all, and Oasis Springs and Willow Creek are going to be base game, and then Windenburg's going to be Get Together. We're going to do City Living, we're going to do Get Famous, and Cats and Dogs. So, you know, I am going to go and do those. It's going to be a long slog because, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. But I'll get there eventually, hopefully. Also, this wall art that I'm using now, those posters, I did not realise that had so many swatches, and I've never used it before because I didn't realise. I thought it was just a boring old poster. So I put it on and had a look at the different swatches, and I found those, and I was like, right, I'm going to have to use those more now because I did not realise they were there. So that you learn something new every day, I guess, as the saying goes. He also gave this little area here, so we've got like coffee makers and microwaves, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of fast food places do have microwaves. I also put the little ice cream makers in, so, you know, I don't know, give the illusion of popular ice cream from a popular restaurant, fast food restaurant that you probably know what I'm talking about. And usually behind the benches where you order your food, there is somewhere that you can, well, they usually make the drinks there, don't they, and they give you the drinks over the counter. So I wanted to put those fridges there and make that look like that was where you would get all that from. And just put some boards up there. Again, with the boards, you're very limited on what the chalkboards. It'd be good if we could have some some signs that aren't chalkboards and make them, I don't know, or even, I guess I could always do my own custom content ones. That's always a possibility, but again, I just don't want to limit the people that can actually download and use it. But so I had to put the chalkboards up there, but they weren't quite as modern as I wanted them to be, and they don't seem to display the stuff that I want them to display. But you got to work with what you've got, I guess. A poor workman blames his tools, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just blame myself. So straight off, I'll just blame myself. So I'm putting all the seating in now. I wanted to give a lot of seating, a lot of places for people to sit. There are a lot of double tables, and there are a lot of places for groups to sit and stuff like that. And then I also realised quite late on that I'd forgotten to put in a bathroom. Or not that I'd forgot to put in a bathroom, because there was space for a bathroom back there, but I'd forgotten to put the access to the bathroom in, so I had to quickly go back and change that area, but it wasn't too difficult to do, so that's not too bad. I like the booths. This is probably the first time, or maybe the second time, that I've gotten around to actually using those booths, because again, they're very limited to where you can use them. It would have been good if they could give us some more accessories for sauces and stuff like that, because obviously they're assuming that you're going to make your own restaurants, but there aren't that many sauce trays to choose from, so I've just had to kind of go with what we got. And I don't know that I don't know where that's from, that little plate thing with the knife and forks and stuff, but that might be from Dine Out. But I used that because I thought that, something that you would find in a fast food restaurant, a place to get napkins and stuff like that, and obviously the bins. And then I sort of thought, wait a minute, those people that are sat there, you're going to be literally next to the bin, so that's not going to be the nicest, is it? So I decided to put a little half wall there just to make it look a little bit better, so that it doesn't, so you're not just sat behind a bin, because that wouldn't be very nice at all. Again, I'm using the boards here because when you walk into these kind of restaurants, there's just pictures of food everywhere, so you would do that. I'm also really loving these little display cases with the cactuses in, and I also put this little seating area here. Now, I don't know if you would ever have that in a fast food restaurant, but I thought, somewhere for them to sit while they're waiting for the food. Why not? It's a bit comfy. And the colours really match as well, so that didn't look too out of place, I guess. Again, I really struggled with the artwork to put on the walls, because again, there's not much to choose from, but I did end up going for just the reds and anything that was red and stuff. So I think I am definitely going to have to go down the custom content road and start creating what I want in the game. But it's just I don't know, it's a slow process because I'm still learning how to use Photoshop, so I'll get there eventually. I wanted it to be very green inside as well, so I put these little ones, I think they're from Jungle Adventures, just to make it, I don't know, it looks a little bit more green. I didn't want to put too many plants around the place because I don't feel like you would have that many plants to water, because obviously hygienic and stuff like that, but I don't know, they're not too bad. They just they're not too in your face, and it also splits up that entrance area and the dining area as well. Kind of makes you feel a bit more secluded rather than just being open and everyone being able to see you eat. So this is where I realised that I hadn't put the bathroom in, so I had to go and rearrange the furniture just to make it actually fit, which it didn't look too bad actually after I did it. I was really worried. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to get rid of this whole seating area, and I just put it in. But then, yeah, it wasn't too bad. So this is the little office area at the back, where obviously the manager would probably be, and making up the rotas, and I just put some lockers in there and some notice boards and stuff like that, all the kind of stuff that you would find in an office at your workplace. Not at my workplace, but at this kind of workplace. So yeah, so it was this very simple place. Also, I didn't want there to be a lot of stuff in there that the Sims would just kind of go and play with, because obviously they don't keep to their areas, they just kind of wander around anywhere. So I can guarantee you that someone will be sat using that computer. So we'll have to just kind of go in and lock the doors, I guess, maybe for employees only or something. I don't have a Sim that owns this establishment, but maybe I will make somebody that does own it. I haven't thought about who it would be that would own a place like this, but I'm sure there is someone that will. I think we're coming towards the end of the build now, and I think it's just sort of the finishing touches. So I'm going to leave the commentary here, because I'm running out of things to say, if that wasn't entirely obvious by now that I'm running out of things to say. But thank you for watching if you've got this far, and please like the video and subscribe for more. The next letter that we're going to be doing is E, and I'm actually going to do a poll on Twitter to see what people want to see, because I've got 2 ideas in mind. So it would be nice if people gave me an idea of what they want to see. And like I said, thank you very much for watching, and we're just doing the finishing touches, and the screenshots will be coming up very soon. Thank you.